Young man, if the world measures you by trophies, let the wise measure you by tenacity. If the crowd asks, "Did you win today?" ask your soul, "Did I continue?" For victory is not always the battle. Victory is the resolve that refuses to lay down. You were not forged only for the finish line. You were formed for the long road. Men who worship endings lose the miracle of momentum, but men who honor their progress become unstoppable because they draw power not from applause, but from evidence. Hear me. Your progress is your power, not the fantasy in your mind, not the someday vision you keep postponing. Your progress, the steps you have taken, the storms you have weathered, the habits you have overcome. These are the bricks of a fortress that cannot be shaken. The law is plain. What you focus on expands. If you obsess over what's missing, your strength shrinks. If you observe what's been built, your courage multiplies. The man who forgets how far he's come stumbles at small stones. The man who remembers walks through mountains. You will be tempted to measure by distance remaining. Resist it. Measure by distance conquered. The finish line moves with your ambition, but the ground behind you is fixed, undeniable, and fuel for the next ascent. Consider your ledger, not the bank ledger, the ledger of growth. Fewer excuses this year than last, more discipline in your mornings, clearer speech, cleaner conscience, less anger, more patience. These do not trend on headlines, but they build a life that does not collapse in the storm. The world sees results and calls it success. The wise see repetitions and call it inevitability. Each time you stood when comfort called you down, you compounded a kind of wealth no thief can steal: self-trust. Your progress is proof. Proof silences doubt. Proof quiets the critic, especially the one within. A man who carries proof does not beg for permission. He proceeds with poise. Let us establish the first principle. Continuance is conquest. The man who continues, limping, learning, living, has already surpassed the man who surrenders with perfect plans untried. Plans do not move mountains. Persistent steps do. You are not behind. You are being built. You are not late. You are being led. You are not unworthy. You are unfinished. And that is the honor of a man in motion. But understand, progress is not a soft pillow. It is a chiseling. Some days you will carve beauty. Other days you will only sharpen the blade. On both days, you are forwarding your destiny. There is a place in a man's journey where he realizes the true enemy is not the circumstance before him, but the story within him. If the story says, "I am not enough," he will sabotage the summit. If the story says, "I am becoming," he will rise again and again until the peak surrenders. Change the story by counting the steps. Inventory your endurance. Audit your ascent. Discipline is not born from inspiration. It is born from record. Records breed belief. Belief births boldness. Boldness builds futures. Some say, "I will feel confident when I am there." The Master says, "I am confident because I am not where I began." The past is not a prison. It is a receipt. Keep it, read it, let it certify you for the next challenge. Do not let perfection poison your progress. Perfection is a mirage that mocks you from a distance. Progress is water in your canteen today. Drink from it. March on. The law of momentum is merciful. Start small, continue, and the wheel will turn. Start again, and it turns faster. Start despite fatigue, and it becomes your servant. But quit, and it becomes your master. So we begin with rituals. Dawn is a door. Open it with order. 10 minutes of silence to count yesterday's wins. 5 minutes to reset your aim. 3 statements of identity aligned with who you are becoming. The man who starts from proof gives the day no chance to steal his purpose. Write what you kept. I kept my word. I kept my temper. I kept my focus. Write what you cut. I cut a complaint. I cut a distraction. I cut a delay. This is not vanity. It is vigilance. What you repeat, you retain. Then move your body, not to sculpt a statue, but to sculpt a will. The first set is not for muscle, it is for mastery. Each rep whispers, I continue. The body learns, the mind listens, the day obeys. Now attend to your environment. Progress withers in polluted air. Remove what drains your attention. Elevate what strengthens your resolve. Place your purpose where your eyes cannot avoid it. Place your books within reach. Place your phone out of reach. The wise design their day, because the day is a sculptor. If you do not hold the chisel, distraction will. To the matter of comparison, another man's mile is not your measurement. You do not know his soil, his storms, or his shortcuts. Your only fair opponent is the man you were yesterday. Outgrow him quietly, consistently, and you will outrun the world. The second principle, gratitude multiplied by grind. Not gratitude that sleeps, but gratitude that serves. Gratitude says, I honor what I have. Grind says, I multiply what I honor. Together they convert progress into power. List 3 strengths you gained this year. List 3 weaknesses you now govern. List 3 temptations you now deny. These are not slogans. These are stones. Lay them beneath your feet and rise. Hear this warning. The man who refuses to acknowledge his own ascent will always need the world to carry him. The man who honors his ascent carries himself, and often carries others. Victory is not always the battle. It is the refusal to break the chain. Keep the chain. 1 page read, 1 rep done, 1 call made, 1 habit honored. Chains of gold are forged 1 link at a time. You say, but I failed. Good. You learned where your wall stands. Now push it back a foot, then another. Progress is not the absence of failure. It is mastery over repetition. The man who returns is the man who rules. A word about identity. You cannot rise as the man you refuse to release. The former you was faithful to get you here. Now thank him and outgrow him. Dress your mind in the language of the man you are becoming. I decide. I deliver. I develop. Speak it until your bones agree. When doubt enters, present your evidence. I rose when tired. I apologized when proud. I persisted when poor evidence defeats emotion. Keep your files close. There is a science beneath this spirit. Repetition writes code on the subconscious. What you affirm with conviction and verify with action becomes automatic. Automate your excellence. Make dignity a reflex. Make focus your baseline. To those who ask for shortcuts, the only shortcut is sincerity. Be honest about where you began. Be exact about where you stand. Be ruthless about one more step. Sincerity strips away the drama and keeps the work. Build a scoreboard that the world cannot manipulate. Track integrity kept, courage shown, skill increased, hours undistracted, kindness given when you had none to spare. These are the metrics of men who sleep in peace and rise with purpose. The third principle, review creates resilience. The mind that reviews does not relive shame, it reveals strength. Review shows you that storms did not drown you. They trained you to breathe deeper. Collect your small wins with the fierceness others reserve for titles. An honest conversation you avoided last year had today. A craving you used to obey, resisted today. A truth you once fled, faced today. Brick by brick, the cathedral takes shape. Guard your circle. If your progress threatens them, bless them, and build anyway. Not all comrades are companions for the climb. Some cheer the old you because he requires nothing of them. The new you calls them higher, and not all will come. Continue. And when fatigue whispers, rest forever, answer with memory. Memory is fuel. Recall the valley you crossed. Recall the weight you carried. Recall the days you prayed for what you now steward. The man who remembers does not retreat, he resets. Hear the decree. You are not beginning, you are continuing. Continuation is consecration. Each step sanctifies the last. Each act of discipline pays compound dividends in dignity. Your progress is your power. Not someday, this day. Not when they clap, when you choose. Not when it's easy, when it's costly. For victory is not always the battle. Victory is the vow that you will never give up. And a man who will not give up cannot be kept down. Let us carve the fourth principle upon your heart. Direction over drama. The crowd confuses noise with movement, but the wise move without noise. Your progress is the quiet turning of the wheel, the invisible tightening of the bolt, the uncelebrated decision to do what you said you would do, especially when no one watches. The man addicted to drama needs chaos to feel alive. The man devoted to direction needs only a plan and the courage to keep it. One builds a stage, the other builds a life. Choose. This is how you choose. Reduce your life to 3 clear aims for this season. 1 for character, 1 for craft, 1 for contribution. Write them where your eyes must pass. Everything that advances them is oxygen. Everything that opposes them is smoke. Breathe the one, clear the other. Character. I tell the truth even when it costs. Craft. I practice my core skill daily, no skip days. Contribution. I add value to someone who cannot repay me. These aims, repeated and reviewed, will turn drifting men into directed builders. Now, to the furnace where resolve is forged, the hard day. The hard day is not your enemy. It is your exam, and you are not being graded by outcomes, but by adherence. If you adhered when the body sagged and the mind trembled, you passed. Progress recorded. Power increased. On such days, shrink the task until you cannot refuse it. 5 clean minutes of focus, 1 meaningful paragraph, 10 respectful reps, finish, log it. Small completions compound into large certainty. Write this in your ledger. I don't skip twice. Miss a dawn, you do not miss tomorrow. Break a streak, you begin another before nightfall. The man who does not skip twice will outrun men who sprint for a week and sleep for a month. The 5th principle, precision over perfection. Perfection stalls the starter's engine. Precision starts, observes, adjusts, continues. Perfection says, not yet. Precision says, now, then better. It is the creed of craftsmen and kings. Practice with precision means you target the weakness you once hid. If patience failed you yesterday at 5 p.m., set an alarm for 4:45 today and rehearse calm. If gluttony ruled at night, pre-decide your evening plate at noon. Aim where you leaked, seal it. That is progress with teeth. Understand the brain's law. What is pre-decided is easier than what is debated. Men who pre-decide conserve willpower for war. Men who debate squander it on skirmishes. Decide once, apply daily. The 6th principle, evidence over emotion. Feelings are weather, evidence is stone. When the storm of feeling rages, you are behind, you are failing, you are small. Open your archive. Dates, times, tasks, kept promises, conquered cravings, completed calls. Read them out loud until the weather obeys the rock. Build that archive now. Call it your book of becoming. Each page a proof. What you endured, what you executed, what you ended. When doubt prosecutes you, present exhibits A through Z. Case dismissed. Continue the climb. The 7th principle, identity alignment. Do not act toward being the man. You must act as the man. As a man who keeps his word, as a man who builds his craft, as a man who honors his body, language leads identity. Identity leads behavior. Behavior leads destiny. A warning about language. Erase the phrase, I'll try. Try as a leash. Replace with I will or I won't. Freedom lives in the friction of honest commitments. Say fewer vows. Keep all of them. Your self-respect will rise to meet your mouth. The 8th principle, environment engineering. Your space must serve your story. Put friction where you fail, flow where you flourish. If the phone steals you, exile it to another room. If the book heals you, stage it beside your chair, open to the next page. Let furniture preach your future. Your people are part of your environment. Some bless your becoming, some bind you to who you were. Bless the binders, and then build beyond them. Release them without resentment. Progress requires pruning. The 9th principle, the sacred review. Set 3 altars in your week: a morning altar, direction; an evening altar, gratitude; a weekly altar, calibration. Morning, what matters most today? Evening, what did I honor today? Weekly, where did I drift? Where did I dominate? What will I do different next week specifically? Do not write paragraphs. Write procedures. Phone in kitchen by 10 p.m. Lights off 10:30. Wake 5:30. 10-minute review. 45-minute deep work. Protein first meal. Walk at lunch. Read 10 pages at 8 p.m. Pilots trust checklists. Builders do too. The 10th principle, pain with purpose. Pain without a plan becomes complaint. Pain with a plan becomes capacity. When hardship visits, assign it homework. What shall this teach me? Which muscle shall it build? Which lie shall it burn? Give your suffering a syllabus. Graduate. There is dignity in this. When insult arrives, you refine restraint. When delay lingers, you deepen patience. When scarcity bites, you sharpen stewardship. No season is wasted in the hands of a man who assigns meaning. Now, to the battlefield of comparison again, for it returns in new masks. You will be tempted to trade your becoming for their belonging. Refuse it. Belong to your mission. The applause of misaligned men is a siren that lures ships to rocks. Sail by your North Star. How to silence comparison. Count your costs paid, your early mornings, your honest apologies, your clean calories, your kept appointments, your studied craft. This inventory is armor. Envy cannot pierce it. The 11th principle, the 1-degree rule. A ship 1 degree off reaches a different continent. So a man 1 habit off reaches a different life. Choose your 1 degree today, not 10, 1. Anchor it for 90 days. Your coastline will change. Aim for identity-linked habits. As a craftsman, I write 500 words before sunrise. As a steward, I invest first 10% before I spend $1. As a pillar, I call my parents every Sunday. This is how men become monuments, daily chisels, not occasional fireworks. The 12th principle, energy stewardship. Guard your rhythms. Sleep like a king, fuel like an athlete, move like a farmer, breathe like a monk. Progress is not a sprint but a season. Exhaustion counterfeits failure. Restoration reveals truth. Schedule your renewal as you schedule your revenue. The man who treats recovery as rebellion will eventually collapse righteously. Rest is not quitting, rest is sharpening. The 13th principle, courage in microdoses. You need not slay a dragon at dawn. Send 1 difficult email, ask 1 direct question, make 1 bold ask, say 1 clean no courage, compounded daily, turns sheepish men into lions, without ever roaring. Regarding relationships, progress that ignores people is counterfeit. You are building not only an empire, but a home. Speak honor into your circle. Praise privately and publicly. Correct calmly. Keep your promises most to those closest. The crowd forgives. Children remember. The 14th principle, skill concentration. Choose your irreplaceable skill and treat it as sacred. 1 hour of deliberate practice daily for a year will separate you from 99% of dabblers. Turn off the tutorial treadmill. Make a difficult thing with your hands and your head. Ship it. Feedback is fuel, not fire. Seek it from those who do, not those who watch. Improve what is controllable. Ignore what is noise. Iteration is humility in action. The 15th principle, wealth of worth. Money without mastery is a loud poverty. Mastery, even before money, is quiet wealth. Let competence be your currency. Markets bow to men who solve hard problems predictably. Track value delivered, not just dollars captured. When value compounds, compensation follows by law. Progress is value made, visible through time. A brief word on temptation. Temptation promises relief at the cost of respect. Choose respect. The pain you refuse today becomes the penalty you pay tomorrow. The pleasure you delay today becomes the power you display tomorrow. If you fall forward into repentance, not sideways into excuses. Repentance is a builder's tool. Admit, amend, advance. Shame is a swamp. Do not sit there. Cross it. Continue. The 16th principle, quiet confidence. Loud men market potential. Quiet men deliver progress. Your work will speak if you keep producing it. Let your days publish proof. Confidence grows from kept compacts. Wake when you said, work what you planned, walk when you'd rather, wither. Each compact kept is a brick. Bricks become walls. Walls keep out wolves. The 17th principle, teach what you've tamed. The surest way to cement a lesson is to pass it on. Mentor one soul. Explain your system. Share your checklist. When you become a lighthouse, your own shoreline becomes clearer. Teaching exposes your gaps. Good. Gaps guide your next growth sprint. Masters are students who refuse to graduate. The 18th principle, embrace asymmetry. Progress often hides. Outer metrics stall while inner muscles swell. Do not abandon the path because applause is delayed. Oaks do not ask for Instagram. They ask for rain and time. You have both. Continue. Now codify your progress ritual. 15 minutes, 3 parts, count, 5 minutes, list 3 wins, clarify, 5 minutes. Name tomorrow's single highest leverage action, consecrate, 5 minutes. Speak 3 identity lines linked to that action, count, clarify, consecrate. Every night. The 19th principle, strategic subtraction. Before you add a habit, delete a hindrance. 1 vice removed liberates more energy than 3 virtues added. Remove the heaviest stone from your backpack. Your speed will surprise you. Ask, which commitment gives me little return but high drain? End it respectfully. Which platform steals my mornings? Reframe or remove it. What conversation cycles without resolution? Exit or escalate to decision. Builders or editors? The 20th principle, future from the furnace. Picture the man you are forging. How does he stand? What does he refuse? Where does he bend? Who thrives in his shade? Write a 1-page portrait. Read it weekly. Make your days align with your description. Remember, identity is not a costume. It is a contract. You sign it with choices, renew it with habits, prove it with results. Now to fear. Fear is a strategist. Treat it with courtesy and boundaries. Let it ask questions. Have you prepared? Have you planned? Answer. Then escort fear to the gallery. Observer, not operator. Only faith gets the wheel. The 21st principle, the no compromise corner. Choose one standard non-negotiable, perhaps no lies, or no porn, or no debt increases, or no skipping training. One corner that never collapses gives shape to the whole house. When pressure mounts, retreat to the corner and rebuild outward. Men do not fail for lack of talent. They fail for lack of a place to stand. Give yourself that place. The 22nd principle, celebration as strategy. Ceremony cements change. When you cross a micro milestone, mark it. Write a letter to your former self. Take your wife to dinner. Donate to someone in the struggle you overcame. Gratitude anchors gains. Celebration without contribution calcifies into pride. Celebration with contribution multiplies into purpose. Give from the place you were rescued. The 23rd principle, the unglamorous hour. Choose 1 hour daily for deep, boring greatness. No notifications, no ping, only the work that moves your mountain. Name the hour. Guard it with your life. The world will rename it luck. Smile and continue. Progress requires mourning. Grieve the man you will no longer be. He protected you once. Now he prevents you. Thank him. Bury him. Rise. To the men carrying secret shame, sunlight is a skill. Speak the truth to one trusted brother. Hidden rot steals strength. Confession is not collapse. It is carpentry. It lets you replace a beam before the house caves. The 24th principle, make pressure your partner. When stakes rise, breathe slower, speak softer, think straighter. Pressure is not a signal to panic. It is a summons to protocol. Recite yours. Slow breath, straight spine, simple plan, single step. Proceed. The 25th principle, the return. Life will knock you flat. You will disappoint yourself. Return anyway. Builders return. Not because they are fearless, but because they are faithful to purpose, to people, to the man they are becoming. When you return, shrink the ask. Do the smallest honorable act. Sweep one room of your life. That first broom stroke reclaims the house. The 26th principle, make room for wonder. Progress isn't only grind. Step into sky, touch trees, hear rivers. Wonder widens the chest and clears the mind. A narrow soul cannot hold broad destiny. Expand by noticing. A word on wealth again. Buy back time before you buy more toys. Time is the topsoil in which progress grows. Invest in tools that save hours, in people who save cycles, in systems that save sanity. The 27th principle, exit the echo. Curate your inputs. Ancient wisdom for roots, hard biography for grit, technical manuals for skill, silence for synthesis. Most men consume cotton candy and wonder why their mind is sick. Feed yourself steak. The 28th principle, the vow you can keep. Pick one vow you know you can honor for 365 days, perhaps 20 push-ups, or read 2 pages, or no sugar after 8 p.m. Keep it ferocious. You will learn that you are a man whose word builds worlds. And now, knit these threads. Direction over drama, precision over perfection, evidence over emotion, identity alignment, environment engineering, sacred review, pain with purpose, the 1 degree rule, energy stewardship, courage in microdoses, skill concentration, the unglamorous hour, and the return. This is not a list. It is a liturgy. Live it. Hear the refrain that carries us. Your progress is your power, not theirs, yours, not tomorrow, today, not when you win, when you continue. Victory is not always the battle won in public. It is the private promise kept on difficult days. Keep it again tomorrow, and tomorrow will kneel. So we close this segment with a charge. Tonight, write 3 proofs you will carry into dawn. In the morning, speak them before your feet touch the floor. Then perform 1 difficult act before the world can distract you. This is how ordinary days turn into an extraordinary life. And if you doubt, open the book of becoming, read your receipts, remember the road, then rise again, not because the path is easy, but because the man is ready. Continue, builder. Your power is not the thunder of applause. It is the drumbeat of progress, and it is already in your chest. The 29th principle, discipline before desire. Desire burns bright but short. Discipline burns steady and long. The man ruled by desire runs in spurts. The man ruled by discipline marches without pause. Which one builds kingdoms? Which one keeps commitments? Always discipline. Hear this truth. Desire will fade when fatigue rises, but discipline whispers, we still go. Desire shrinks when temptation smiles. Discipline answers, not today. Progress belongs to those who tether their days, not to feelings, but to principles. The 30th principle, gratitude as gravity. Gratitude pulls you back to center when the world tries to scatter you. It anchors ambition so it does not drift into arrogance. It steadies success so it does not tilt into pride. Gratitude does not make you soft, it makes you steady. Each morning speak aloud 3 thanks. 1 for what you endured, 1 for what you achieved, 1 for who walked beside you. This daily gravity holds you upright in storms. The 31st principle, clarity through cutting. You cannot carry everything. Progress is not only adding, it is discarding. Cut projects, cut noise, cut habits, cut even some dreams that no longer align. The man afraid to prune ends up choked by his own branches. Ask, does this action build the man I am becoming? If no, cut it without apology, without delay. Clarity is found in subtraction. The 32nd principle, vision beyond victory. The danger of reaching a milestone is mistaking it for the mountain. Celebrate, yes, but then lift your eyes. The man who cannot see beyond victory soon falls back into vanity. Progress means you always keep a horizon just beyond your hand. Do not let success seduce you into standing still. Let it summon you to a higher summit. The 33rd principle, faith in the furnace. Every man faces moments where logic screams quit. Progress demands faith, not blind, but built. Faith rooted in evidence of past endurance. Faith forged in fire. Faith that declares, I've walked through worse, I can walk through this. This faith is your fireproof armor. It does not prevent the flames, but it prevents your collapse within them. The 34th principle, the audit of attention. Your attention is your most expensive asset. Where it goes, your future grows. Audit it weekly. How many hours did you sell to scrolling? How many to silence? How many to building? Numbers reveal truth. Correct them without excuses. The 35th principle, progress as prayer. Yes, prayer is not only spoken, it is acted. Each disciplined deed is a declaration. I honor the life given me. Work well, rest wisely, speak truth. These are prayers with hands. Heaven hears them as loudly as words. The 36th principle, momentum over motivation. Motivation is wind, momentum is engine. Build momentum through repeatable routines that do not depend on mood. Once rolling, you will find the hill helps you. Push the first stone. Let gravity of progress pull the next. This is why streaks matter, not to impress, but to accumulate. Each mark on the calendar is momentum embodied. Soon you are no longer starting each day, you are continuing. And continuation is half of conquest. The 37th principle, the review of resilience. Sit once a month and list your recoveries. When were you hit? When did you heal? When did you rise again? These are medals invisible to the crowd, but weighty to your spirit. Display them in memory. Wear them in posture. Resilience reviewed becomes resilience reinforced. The 38th principle, the vow of vigilance. Progress can be stolen silently by comfort, by compromise, by carelessness. Be vigilant. Guard your morning, guard your mind, guard your mission. The thief enters when you go casual. Stay watchful. The 39th principle, the companionship of challenge. Do not avoid challenge. Invite it, not recklessly, but regularly. Challenge chisels you. Easy paths make soft men. Progress is the friend who asks you to carry more than yesterday. Accept the invitation. The 40th principle, progress over perfection, always. Perfection never arrives. Progress is here now, daily. To wait for perfection is to waste life. To walk in progress is to wield life. So we return to the refrain, your progress is your power. Not the medals, not the money, not the metrics, but the man who kept moving when comfort called him to quit. it. And as you breathe this truth, let it saturate. Victory is not always in the battle won, but in never giving up. The man who continues, he has already conquered. The 41st principle, reflection is fuel. Too many men forget. They move forward with eyes only on the horizon, and their energy dries up. But the man who reflects refuels. He remembers the valley he already crossed, the battles he already won. That memory becomes power in the present. Each evening, ask not only, what must I do tomorrow, but what did I already do today that proves I am not the man I was? Progress honored is progress multiplied. The 42nd principle, identity through endurance. Who you are is not proven by what you start. It is proven by what you refuse to stop. Projects unfinished, promises abandoned, commitments betrayed, these erode the foundation of identity. But each endurance, each day continued, carves your name into stone. Tell yourself this, my story is not that I began. My story is that I endured. The 43rd principle, the discipline of direction. Energy without direction is wasted motion. You may work 12 hours, but if the wheel turns in circles, you end where you began. Direction channels energy into progress. That is why reflection and review matter. They keep your compass aligned. Every Sunday, take 10 minutes to realign. What am I building? Who am I becoming? Does this week's plan prove it? If not, adjust. Progress is course correction, not perfection. The 44th principle, resistance as revealer. Resistance shows you where your power must grow. That conversation you avoid, that's the rep you need. That task you delay, that's the weight you must lift. The places where you hesitate are the places your destiny hides. Lean in. Resistance is not a wall, it is a mirror. It shows you the gap between who you are and who you must become. Thank it, then walk through it. The 45th principle, progress as protection. When storms strike, the man with no progress panics because he has no record of resilience. But the man with decades of proof in his own mind does not crumble. He says, I have walked through worse. His progress becomes his shield. Remember, the past is not a prison, it is proof. The 46th principle, gratitude with grit. Gratitude without grit becomes complacency. Grit without gratitude becomes bitterness. But together, gratitude and grit, they balance the soul. Be thankful, but keep climbing. Be content but not complacent. This is the secret of steady men. The 47th principle, purpose over performance. The world will judge your performance by trophies, titles, numbers, but those fade. Purpose endures. Align your progress not only with profit, but with purpose. When purpose fuels you, no performance slump can sink you. Ask daily, is this step aligned with who I'm becoming, or am I just performing for applause? One path leads to exhaustion, the other to elevation. The 48th principle, self-respect over recognition. Recognition may or may not come, but self-respect is always available. Each time you honor your word, you deposit dignity into your account. Recognition spends fast. Self-respect compounds forever. Progress is not just about outcomes, it is about becoming the kind of man you can respect in the mirror. The 49th principle, momentum into mastery. Mastery is not a single leap, it is 10,000 steps of progress taken without giving up. Each rep, each line, each word, each day, it builds. Soon, what was once impossible becomes instinct. That is mastery. That is power. The 50th principle, progress is permanent only when practiced. Do not let your victories gather dust. Keep them alive by repetition. Keep them fresh by teaching. Keep them sacred by protecting the habits that built them. A fortress untended falls, not from invasion, but from neglect. So tend your fortress daily. And now, hear this clearly. Your progress is your power. not perfection, not applause, not comparison, not some distant future. The proof is already in your hands. You endured when quitting was easier. You rose when falling was tempting. You spoke truth when silence was safer. You carried on when no one was watching. That is power. That is victory. Victory is not always the battle won. It is the battle continued. The man who refuses to give up has already won more than most. So today, let the world say what it will. Let the critics murmur. Let comparison tempt. Let doubt whisper. You will answer with one phrase, carved in fire upon your heart, I have come too far to quit now. That phrase is not arrogance. It is evidence. It is the record of every step, every scar, every sunrise that you met with courage. From this day forward, build not from lack, but from legacy. Not from fear, but from faith. Not from desperation, but from discipline. Stand tall, speak steady, move forward. Because progress is not just your past, it is your proof of power for the future. And as you walk out of this moment, remember, the hardest part was never starting. The hardest part was continuing. And you, yes, you are still continuing. That is the evidence. That is the victory. That is the power. Now go, build, become, lead, and never forget to look back, not with regret, but with reverence for the man you were, the man you are, and the man you are becoming.